Well, hello folks, and welcome back to the channel. And what you see here in this deli container is a yellow belly pastel ball python. And I've been thinking about getting a snake for probably about a few months now. And I've been binging on videos all concerning snakes, particularly ball pythons. And finally, I went to the reptile show in Havre'd Grace, Maryland this morning or this afternoon. I guess I arrived there about 12 o'clock and the line was like wrapped around the building, and I probably didn't get into the building until like 1 o'clock p.m. So again, I've been thinking about getting a snake for quite some time, so I was pleased to pick this girl up today. She's about 3 months old. Her name is Cindy, as I named her just today. So I'm going to go ahead and probably run through this video as quickly as I can because she's been at the reptile show all day, and I've been running around stores all day long, and she just like yawned like something incredibly, so she's probably worn out all day. I've been like I've had her like on my floor in my truck, and I've been bumping her around, and as I said, I went to like 3 different stores getting her enclosure ready. And so I went to Petco, and then I went to Walmart, and then I went to PetSmart, picking up just different items that I wanted and trying to find the best deal available. So this girl's about 3 months old, and I can't wait to get her to her enclosure. Again, she's worn out, and I was checking on her again just a few hours ago, or an hour ago, I should say, and I could see her poking her head up at the top of the enclosure, like really trying to pry herself out of there. So I'm gonna cut this thing really short. I'm gonna kind of run through this thing as quickly as possible, but I want to kind of share this thing with you guys and put her in the enclosure and kind of just kind of show you guys how this thing goes. And again, I've been binging on different videos and trying to figure out what's going on with these ball pythons, how they interact with people, where their natural habitat. It seems like these things are from Central to South Africa is their natural habitat. And this is a girl, which means she'll get about maybe as long as like 5 feet, and the males tend to be around something like 4.5. So this girl can be like 5 to maybe even 6 feet, depending on my husbandry and how well I keep. So I went to the shop again at 12 o'clock. This line was wrapped around the building, and everybody's in their masks, and there was about maybe 3 people that were unmasked. I myself being one of them. But of course, by the time you reach the building, you got to put on your mask, and a guy has a laser beam. He points to your head to take your temperature, which is whatever. So in order to get into the door, you have your mask on. The guy takes your temperature, and then you get on into the show. And this show was about. They had a pretty good tables. It's fairly small. It's done in a recreation center, but they utilized the space really well. I got to say, there was about maybe, oh gosh, I can't even count the number of vendors. If off the top of my head, I would probably say maybe 75 or so vendors, maybe something like that, from 50 to 75 vendors, and maybe 100 or so tables. And they utilized the space very well, so I had a good opportunity to walk around and really select what I wanted. And what really singled me out on this girl, because I was looking for a pastel, and I wanted a snake that was well kept, a good breeder, and a snake that was kind of inquisitive and curious and kind of moving about the enclosure. And this girl was really lively. She was like curious. So you see the tongue flickering, and she was just like kind of all over the place within her enclosure, and I could see that she was well socialized, well handled. And this show opened up about, I guess, about 9 a.m. and it closed at 3. So by the time I got in there about 1 o'clock, she had probably been handled by a few prospective buyers and the handler himself. So I'm going to go ahead and get her out of here as quickly as possible. And I got to say, this is my first pet snake. Actually, it's kind of my second. My dad had a snake as we were kids. My dad had a pet snake. We were growing up, and we never got to handle it, and we were always a little bit skittish of snakes because well, they're snakes. They're kind of snaky. They slither around, and they're kind of slow, or they're methodical, and snakes have gotten a bad rap over the years, I guess. In my lifetime, I've always been a little bit skittish about snakes, and especially about handling them, and I just it was just something that I wasn't very thrilled to do, and I've always avoided. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of grew up a little bit, and I've kind of been watching videos, and I've always admired them. It's not their fault that they're snakes. It's not their fault that God chose them to be a snake. Hey, I'm happy that God chose me to be a human, so I'm gonna go ahead and acclimate myself to the snake as time goes on. And again, ball pythons are really great, but they're really chill snakes, and you can see that she's balled up. And let's pop myself open here, and you can see that ball pythons get their name because when they kind of ball up into a tiny ball. Now, obviously, she's in this little deli enclosure, and there's not a lot of space to kind of stretch out in, but ball pythons, they ball up in a ball no matter what size the enclosure until they get used to you, and then they'll kind of stretch out, and really chill snakes. So and I'm getting to learn my way around snakes, and particularly ball pythons. So I look forward to growing and learning as we go along. And so this snake here, I'm going to transfer it into the enclosure, and I've set up the enclosure. Let's go ahead and pan around to the enclosure right there. So this is actually a 10-gallon tank, and you can see my lid right there on the top. And I actually I wanted a 20-gallon tank, but as you can see here, I'm going to store her right in my bookcase right there. And I should have taken a measurement before I went out to shop around, but this little enclosure can only fit, it can only accommodate about 28 inches of space. So I had to go back to Petco, is where I bought this, and transition or transfer my 20-gallon tank into this 10-gallon. So as you can see here, I have this, I'll go through the enclosure here. My substrate here is a coconut husk. I've been kind of, reviewing different kinds of substrates, and aspen, it turns out it kind of molds. So I went ahead and got the coconut husk, and this is actually compliments of Md. Let's go ahead and give proper credit here. Md Eco Earth loose coconut fiber substrate. And as you can see, my water bowl there, I picked that up at PetSmart. I think I paid like $7.99, $8 for that. And you can see my little log here. I got it for her to climb up and kind of play with and kind of mill around the enclosure. And I think this thing cost me like $13, and I bought this at Petco when I went back to actually get the 10-gallon tank, because I'd gotten a larger log that would accommodate a 20-gallon tank, but because my enclosure was half the size, I had to kind of downsize a little bit. And you can see this half log I actually purchased at the reptile show for $5.99. And this tank, the Petco had this sale where they do like $1 per gallon. So this cost me just probably a little over $10. Probably like I think all said and done, I paid like $13 for this tank. And I think I probably actually paid more for the mesh enclosure at the top here, which was probably about, I think this thing was like $16-17. So I'm not going to take a whole lot of time, and these clips, of course. And you know what, guys? Before I do that, I do want to go through these clips. These clips are compliments of a Magitarium these clips are by. These are snap to safety screen clips. So what you do here is first you take this clip here. These are the smaller clips. And they come with directions, but they're not very friendly, you know. I actually had to check out a couple of videos to see how this thing actually works. So here, you take this side here, and you kind of center it as best you can. And this goes under the lip of the tank. And I'm going to try and fit that in. There you go. So, there you go. And you don't put it flush up against the tank. You put it in as best you can. So there you have it. Bam. And you center it as best you can there. And then on the other side, this other clip here, I'm going to press that up against the other side here. And again, guys, bear with me because I'm using one hand for the phone and one hand to kind of maneuver the equipment. So you have one on that side, centered as best you can, and one on that side. And these are the other clips here. And what you do is you then put your enclosure right here on the top there. Bam. And then you take the other clip here and you fit this lower part right up against this. And then you just kind of ease it over. Again, see that? Ease it over there and push it until you hit that little clip. Bam. And then you take the other side and do likewise. And as you can see here, it gives you a fairly good, it secures it fairly well. And again, make sure you have it well centered so that you get the best. You make the most of the equipment. So there you go. So again, you do the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and take that clip off. And I think I should actually slide off. Bam. Like, yeah, that. And it slides off fairly easily. So here's the girl. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Set that aside. And guys, I've always been a little bit skittish about snakes because again, you know, they're a little bit, you know, they're like snaky, they're kind of slithery, and you know, they're just snakes. So, but I'm dying to get her out of this because as I said before, she's been in this enclosure all day, probably been handled by the handler as well as prospective buyers. So, I want to go ahead and get her out of this enclosure and into her new home. And the water dish here, I filled up just about halfway with water. Just so it will be easier for me to pick it up and put it in there and in the enclosure without spilling it. And I plan on changing this water like maybe every 2 days, just to give Cindy here some fresh water every day, or every other day, as it works out. And I have some feeder mice here. These guys have been in the enclosure all day, so I'm going to have to do something with these guys. I'm going to poke some more holes in there to give them a little bit more breathing room, and I'm going to, and hopefully my space holds up so I can go ahead and let you guys see what they look like without, hopefully they don't jump all over the place. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and unbox Cindy. The snake unboxing, and I gotta tell you guys, this is the very first time I didn't handle her at this show, you know, because you know, I'm a little bit wary of snakes, but this is my kind of first introduction to snakes, so I'm not gonna be a little bitch here. I'm gonna go ahead and get her out of here because, I mean, just for the sake of Cindy here, I'm gonna go ahead and get her into her new home because she's been like cramped into small spaces like all day. So I'm gonna go ahead and get her out of here and into her new enclosure. Into her new enclosure and her new home, which I'm sure she's going to appreciate and I hope she loves. So let's go ahead and take this off. And I gotta say, before I take this lid off, I had a couple of shots, you know, just to give me a little bit of liquid courage so that, you know, I handle the snake and I'm not so skittish, not like a little bitch. So I'm gonna, you know, go ahead and take the lid off, and I'm gonna pick her up, and I'm gonna gently place her in her enclosure, and then I'm gonna put the lid on and get her set up. So let's go ahead and undo this. Let's get her from the far side. Hey, Sin. Hey, baby. And I can see her kind of puff up a little bit. And she's like sitting around, and I let her sit in here in this room in my office, just to get her a little bit acclimated to her new environment, so that, you know, as I said before, I've been in multiple stores all day and she's been kind of stressed out. And here I am, I'm, you know, this big human being that she's never seen before, even though she's been in stores and she's been handled and she's balled up. So what I'm going to do is just kind of gently reach right into the enclosure and let's see here, put it here. And again, even though I had some liquid courage, I'm not really keen on and really enthusiastic, but I'm kind of enthusiastic because I want to break myself out of the snake skittish mode. So we're just going to go ahead and ease her right up out of here. Hey, baby. Hey, sweetheart. I know it's been a rough day for you. And I'm going to lift her out of here. And I'm going to set this phone down so I can handle her a bit more carefully than what I can do with one hand. So I'll pick her back up. I'll pick the phone back up once I get her in my hands. Hey, baby. Let's get you out of here and into your new home. I know it's been like kind of a stressful day for you. I know. Come on, let's get you out of here. Let's get you out of here, dear. So here she is. Bam. And I've got her. Pardon me. Bam. There she is. She's in her new home. And lift her out of there. And she was really cool about it. And she seems, you know, we'll let her figure things out. But she was really smooth, and, you know, I was a little bit nervous about it, but there she is in her new home, and I think she's going to like it really. I think she's going to take to it really well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to reach over here and just slide the top there. Bam. And I'm going to just lower that, and you can see my wristband from the reptile show. And I think she's going to do really well there. She looks really good. So I'm going to set that up in her enclosure, and I can see that she's like, oh, she's got to be so relieved. You know, she's been in that, in the pet shop and these small enclosures all day long. And here she is in her brand new home, and she's kind of milling about. And man, I am so thrilled to actually get her in there. And she's got the feeder mouse. She's eaten. She eats like once a week. So, and I'm going to be feeding her live too, which is what she's used to. So, but if I see that, you know, she's struggling a bit with these mice, if they start to kind of, if I see her getting bitten, I'm going to switch to frozen thaw real quick, because, you know, I want to really take care of her and make sure that she's well provided for and is thriving in her new home. So it looked like she's getting in there and moving around pretty good. Again, that's her new home, and she'll have that nice little log to climb on, and she'll have a water dish that I'll change every other day. And she's got her hide there, that half log, that is going to really give her a good change of pace, a good change of space. And she's moving along in there quite well. And guys, I do have a heat pad on order. It should be here hopefully in the next few days. So, and I have a thermometer that I'm going to put in here also to maintain that temperature on the pad, to make sure that she doesn't bake. Ideally, you want to have a hot side and a cold side, so that whenever the body temperature fluctuates, she can move over to the hot side and then back over to the cold side as she feels. But for the meantime, I have this space heater here, and I'm going to keep an ambient temperature of about 78 degrees in this room until her heat pad arrives, and I can really get the temperature adjusted to where she wants to be. So let's go ahead and pan this thing around and kind of see what she's doing here. and she's kind of feeling her way about and getting used to her new enclosure. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave her set. I'm gonna leave her where she is because everything is so new to her. She's had a pretty rough day, and it's best to not handle once you get her into her new enclosure. It's best not to handle her for about a couple of days, and I'm probably gonna give her probably about 5 days, and I'm gonna feed her in about 5 days, just to make sure that she's well acclimated into her new environment and that she's eating well. And then after she digests, I'll maybe give her another 2 to 3 days to digest her meal, and then I'll start handling her and getting her acclimated to me, and trying to build up some trust, and so that we could become really good friends. So look at her; she's kind of hiding now, and I'm gonna go ahead and tuck her away, put her in her enclosure. And in fact, I'm gonna go ahead and lift her in there just to see how she looks in there. So bear with me. Alright, girl, we're gonna set you up in your new home. I know it's been quite a day for you, but here you are. And so there she is. Bam. She's tucked away there, and she's well hidden. She's behind that little log there. Pardon the light, but she tucked herself away behind that log. She's hiding. And eventually she'll get into that little half log there, and she'll have herself a little drink, and then I'll feed her, and I'll give her, maybe 4 or 5 days to get used to her new enclosure, her new environment, me, and I'll feed her, and then we'll give her a couple more days to digest the meal, and then I'll begin to handle her and get her, and build a bond, build some trust, and really enjoy my new pet. So thanks guys again for checking out the channel, and all of my new subscribers, thanks so much. And look at her, she's peeking out, she got the tongue flickering, and she's kind of feeling out her new environment, and I think she actually likes it. She's got to be absolutely thrilled to be out of that small container and away from all those people at the pet shop, all the hustle and bustle of the day. And this room is really warm. And look at her. Oh, look at her. She's gonna have a drink. Have a drink, dear. Yeah. Oh, look at her. She's in that water. Oh, she's having herself a drink. Oh, look at that. Isn't that a beautiful sight, folks? That is absolutely beautiful. So, and with water, I didn't give her tap water. I gave her filtered water from my refrigerator, and calcium. What else is in that water? You name it. All of the mineral deposits that are good for human beings may not necessarily be good for snakes. So it's always best to give her some filtered water, so that you're starting her off on a really good diet and really getting her digestive system into some good purified water, so that she's really feeling her way out. And as you can see, she's really enjoying that. So hey guys, thanks so much for checking out the channel again, and I'll keep you updated as we move forward. And you know what, let me quickly see if I can get into this container of feeder mice. Alright, so I hope these guys don't come splashing all around the place, and I hope they're still alive too. So I'm gonna go ahead and peek this box open, and I hope. Nope, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm afraid that they're gonna come splashing out. But I tell you what, I'm gonna maybe I'll peek it open just for the hell of it, because I want to see if and make sure that they're okay. All right, guys, look at them. All right, I see the box there. Look at them. Hey guys, what's up? There they are. They're feeder mice. And they've been, they've had a day ahead of them too. So I'm gonna get a better enclosure for these guys, and feed them, and make sure that they're well taken care of too. So that's it, guys. Thanks again for checking out the channel. And again, I'll keep you guys informed as we move forward. You can see that Cindy is really loving her new enclosure, and she's gonna get an opportunity to stretch out a little bit and kind of feel, just let loose. And I'm not sure. I think, I'm not sure if he has snake crates or, you know, exactly what kind of enclosure that the breeder had her in. But here she is. She's kind of making her way about and just feeling things out. And I'm gonna leave her be. I'll leave the light on, and you know, I'll shut it out. You know, when I go to bed, I'll turn the light off because these are nocturnal creatures, and they like the dark. So I'm gonna leave her be. I'm gonna get something to eat because I've had a day ahead of me too. So I'm like starving. So thanks again, guys, for checking out the channel, and I'll keep you abreast as these developments unfold. And hey, again, get out there, enjoy life, make the most of every day. Never take a moment for granted. And again, make the most of every day. Peace!